My name's Mark Osborn, and I'm lead a team of architects within IBM's cloud sales organisation, and I'm going to be talking to you today, giving you a little bit of insight into our point of view on cloud transformation. And our perspective on that, and also in the context, and you may be aware that we made a small acquisition recently as IBM of a company called Red Hat, and that has had a significant impact on how we on everything within IBM and our entire strategy. So let me just give you a little bit of view on that perspective. So I came across this analysis recently from IDC. They had a quote which was organizations in the future, and 2020, it's not even the future, that's in a few weeks' time, right? But organizations in the future, they're either going to be digitally determined, right, or digitally distressed. And there's been quite a few conversations earlier. I was in the discussion, the CIO conversation earlier about the changing role of the CIO and how it's transforming from being a cost center running an infrastructure, actually being a core part of the transformation of the organization. I think that's what we're seeing, because when you're not transforming, and there's lots of reasons why companies don't succeed, right? It's more complicated than that. And part of that is actually that digital transformation you need to do. And there are sort of many components of that. But let me give you a couple of stories, right, from some IBM customers to give you an insight on, some of the transformational forces that are going around. And then after that we'll go into having a look a bit about how we see the future architecture of cloud and AI. So one quite interesting story is Plastic Bank. Very, very different organisation to the ones you might be familiar with, or even we work with in our daily life. But this organisation works in developing countries, trying to reduce the amount of plastic waste by turning plastic into a currency. Right, and they were working in communities using paper-based tokens, encouraging people to collect plastic, bring it back for recycling, and then resell on into the market. So reducing the amount of plastic, but also a viable business concern. So working together with the IBM team, they've actually now developed a blockchain-based plastic currency running on a whole IBM Linux-based solution, and have completely accelerated and transformed that, and actually growing in many, many different countries. So that's new digital technology running on open source solutions, and a completely innovative new business, right, coming out of nowhere, transformational in a new area. Complete contrast to that, a very, very established company, American Airlines. They've got a lot of legacy systems, but those systems are core to their business, like their booking and rebooking systems. Right? They actually make the business run, but they're also really, really focused on customer service in a very, very competitive environment, very cost sensitive environment. So we worked with them initially to do a very straightforward lift and shift migration of their VMware-based solutions onto the IBM Cloud. Now, literally everything from left to right onto the cloud, branches of that, basic cost saving, centralized management, and simplicity, and so on. Fairly dull but critical stuff, right? Like the first generation of cloud, as you might call it. What we're then able to do once those systems were in the cloud is actually start to look at, well, where can we help you innovate? So working with, we have this team called the Ibm Cloud Garage that helps organizations do innovation and come up with new solutions. We helped American Airlines develop an app to enable dynamic rebooking of seats by customers while they're out traveling, connecting that to data from the cloud from the IBM Weather Company, predicting weather patterns. And we actually launched that during one of the hurricanes in the US to help a lot of people who are displaced actually move and rebook their flights. And that was using, it was a microservices-based application, but using our API connection tools to connect back into the established core critical business apps that are running on the VMware traditional stack, but also in the cloud. So, you've got traditional tooling, move to the cloud, you start to enable some innovation to happen, you start to build new apps, and we're using some dynamic data for the cloud as well from the IBM Weather Company, right, which takes us on to them, a nice little segue into what they're doing. And so Weather Company, they're a organisation that we acquired a few years ago, providing data to organisations, including, for example, into Formula One racing teams and into airlines as well, and around the world. They have to scale dramatically. They obviously use our mainframe technology for doing the big number crunching, but in terms of delivering the data, they're actually hosting their services on pure Kubernetes-based solutions in the IBM Cloud on our IBM Cloud Managed Kubernetes service. This allows really flexible scaling of their requirements depending on the demand that they have, right? So it's giving them a very modern cloud-native solution environment, but also very complete flexibility and also cost flexibility as well as based on demand, as well as flexibility, also reliability as well. So, another completely different type of organization, this one providing data as their core asset as well. So different things, an innovative startup, a traditional business, a data-driven app, but all of these organizations are driven by digital transformation, by data analysis as well. And that's because digital is affecting us across in everyday lives, so it's shaping everything we do from agriculture through to healthcare. We've got technologies like IoT and AI that is infused into everything that is actually driving that transformation. And we call this concept of this transformation that's happening with these technologies where you're taking the data and you're making decisions. We call this the cognitive enterprise. So digital generates an awful lot of data. We're creating a lot of it, but then let's think about what we do with that data. How can we make the organization almost more intelligent than the people that run it? We've found that 90% of the data that organizations have isn't actually being used at all yet. That was from one of the studies we did. And so as you start analyzing that, applying machine learning, applying artificial intelligence, then you actually start to create that intelligence and that change. So that's the cognitive enterprise. So we've got data, we've got machine learning, we've got dynamic provision of capacity, we've got new DevOps. All of these things are moving in tandem, right? You need moving together to create the scenario for innovation and the new digital enterprise. What enables all of that? Well, it's the cloud, right? This is the underlying technology, and of course, everyone says that a few years ago, everyone was saying, well, public cloud is going to solve all of the problems. They're going to bring all of this together, right? Did they? Who said that? I'm not sure who said that, but I think some people I know, even in my own organisation, say everything's going to go to public cloud. Everything. It's not a question of when, it's a question of when. But that didn't happen, did it? It's not happening, right? Roughly speaking, we reckon about 20% of workloads have gone to public cloud so far. I don't know if that resonates with you. I'll sometimes get a nod to that data because I think it's reasonably accurate. I think that one was an IDC report, but I think there's been several other reports that have given a similar sort of amount. So, and the workloads that have gone to cloud tend to be the low-hanging fruit, the quick wins. Let's do some quick innovation. Let's do a quick app. Let's, do the easy things. But what has stayed behind, that 80%, those are the critical business applications that actually run the business. Those are the core that actually you don't want to mess with. Let's not take that to the cloud because why? Well, we've got security requirements, we've got data residency requirements, we've got resiliency requirements, right? And all that means is I can't touch that. We can't actually move that to the public cloud. Or even more interestingly now, because it's not just about the public cloud anymore, actually modernize that, make it cloud native, actually bring it into the new infrastructure that allow you to do some of those transformational things we were just talking about. Okay? So how do we do that? We call this challenge Cloud Chapter 2, right? It's taking the critical business and not just lift and shifting it to the public cloud, because where's the value in that? But actually doing the transformation, doing the cloud native modernization that allows you to start to transform your business. And actually, as CIOs, as we were talking about earlier, actually transforming our role to becoming change drivers within our organizations. So this is a fairly typical landscape I think you'll probably recognize, right? Is this sort of hybrid multi-cloud reality that we see, right? You've got still a really huge core of traditional IT, normally on premises, potentially outsourced. You've got various different SaaS solutions. You've got dedicated public cloud. You've got public clouds. You've got dedicated cloud requirements, and also various different kinds of cloud requirements, all kind of intermingled. There's a lot going on in the normal enterprise organization. You've got all of these, and some of the conversations I've been having the last sort of 12 hours since last dinner last night have been pretty much around that, right? Those sort of complex type of scenarios. How do you manage to deal with that? Because that's a reality that all of you live in today, right? And what we're thinking about is, how do you best manage that while also driving innovation, right? What do you do? We're having the public clouds, got private clouds, I've got the requirements, got the data residency issues, I've got security. How do I deal with that? Well, you've got two approaches to actually dealing with the reality of multi-cloud, right? You can either go down what we rather cheekily call the hybrid mono-cloud approach, right? Which is where you have one standard from one particular vendor that locks you in. And I saw recently the Microsoft Arc announcement, which is actually really powerful. But if you're into Azure and everything's going to be Azure and you're always going to do Azure for everything else, and you can run it on any cloud as long as it's all Azure and Microsoft technology, which is fine, right, if that's what you're into. But if you're actually if you want flexibility and you want vendor portability, then actually the way to go is actually true hybrid multi-cloud, which is to go for open standards, right? To actually focus on technologies like Kubernetes and containers, and actually allowing that flexibility. And that's our approach. So IBM, now together with Red Hat, right, that is completely infusing and transforming absolutely every single aspect of what IBM does today, from our hardware through to our software, through to our services. We are driving a truly hybrid multi-cloud strategy where everything is container-based, and everything can move across from cloud to cloud, from on-premises, and all the way out to the edge as well, right? All on a single platform. Because containers are transforming everything. And if you're not aware of this one, I'm sure you are, right? I feel like probably I'm teaching to suck eggs. Everyone's heard about containerization. But it is a significant different level of efficiency running an application on a container, right, versus running it on a traditional virtual machine or bare metal server, right? And I love this image here of the sort of the cargo being manually loaded onto a ship versus one of our customers here, Maersk, shipping lines, right, shipping containers around the world in a multimodal manner, right? So it is transforming the way you do things. Now, we recognize the reality, again, is not straightforward. So guess what? We offer solutions where you're running container-based solutions on top of VMs, because that's what you have in your infrastructure and that's what your management is ready for today. So these transitional solutions are reality, right? We offer VMware on IBM Cloud, right? But we also offer completely Kubernetes native services as well, because the reality is you need to have that flexibility across the infrastructure. And that's where we really excel. So this is the picture we think about. So you've got your sort of hybrid mono clouds, right, out there and available, right? Our strategy is hybrid multi-cloud, and we're opinionated, right? we have purchased Red Hat and OpenShift. So our Kubernetes stack is an OpenShift base, and that has a number of advantages. But guess what? Buying to OpenShift, it's great. It is the best in the market. But say you want to move off it and use a different Kubernetes-based solution, you can, because it's container-based. You can transition out of there. You're not locked in to that open standard solution that is OpenShift. You can move out of it. But you can run if you build your apps on containers, hopefully on OpenShift, then you can move them between every single cloud, on premises, and out onto the edge as well. So that's the vision. All of those innovative technologies, from blockchain through to artificial intelligence, right, through to robotic automation, everything else, sitting on top of a single stack, allowing that innovation, bringing together the data and analytics as well. Also, and we even announced that back in January, right, that we're taking Watson, our AI engine, out into other clouds, and that's now been activated through this containerized approach, right, and we've got a range of services across that. And the other thing we've done is we've taken our middleware software that you may be familiar with, so from MQ series through to FileNet, through to our new application modernization solutions and our multi-cloud management, container management solutions. We containerize all of those and put them on top of OpenShift as well. So we're really buying into this, and we're also taking a number of these and we're making them open source bit by bit. Right? All one go, not everything at once. We're infusing that in there as well. We're taking that Red Hat philosophy really, really seriously. So with these, and we're calling this, our entire middleware, we're calling it Cloud Packs, right? Because they run on any cloud, sitting on top of OpenShift. There's a bunch of them. I could do a whole presentation about them. You'll be pleased to know I'm not going to. But that's our middleware software stack as it is today. And I say these are the first 5 Cloud Packs. So we're offering through from application transformation, so tooling to actually transform your J2E applications into container-based apps with analysis around that, and runtime environments like WebSphere, Liberty, but also JBoss as well, and OpenShift and so on, all packaged up. We've got a Cloud Pack for data, for creating a data layer on top of any cloud. Integration for API connecting the legacy apps with the modern apps or different SaaS apps with your home-built apps. Automation for process management, which is where the business actually happens, right through to a very innovative area where we really, really lead, which is multi-cloud management. So this is container-based management. It's a problem you may not even know that you have yet. For those of you who are already running containers in multiple clouds, and some on premises and some on the edge and so on, know that you need to actually manage the costs and also the security and the structure around those containers and where they sit. IBM Multi-Cloud Management does that. See me afterwards if you want to know more, because that's a long story, right? But again, very innovative tool. And off the edge here, hidden, because I'm not allowed to show it to you, is Cloud Pack for Security, because we haven't officially announced it externally yet, but it's already been talked about, and we're doing an announcement in a few weeks' time. So that's all of our security offerings, also bundled up on OpenShift, available on any cloud as well. And there will be more. I wouldn't be surprised, for example, if there's a Cloud Pack for blockchain in the future, potentially, right? And so on and so forth, right? Also industry-based Cloud Packs. And you can see where the trend's going on this thing. Want to get started? Very simple. You can go onto IBM Cloud and use market-leading managed Kubernetes service on IBM Cloud. I can confidently say that we beat the socks off any other Kubernetes service. I think the Azure one's pretty good, actually pretty close to this. The AWS one is nothing close to this. So I'd say they're our closest competitor. Really nice, easy to use. You can try out the Kubernetes service. OpenShift, managed OpenShift service is not free. You have to pay to try that one out because that is a license to pay. But if you want to try the Kubernetes one, you can go and spin up some clusters if you want to. And you can also try out the Cloud Packs again as well. They click to install, up they go in the cloud. You can run them. Obviously, they'll run on premises and other clouds as well. But the easiest way, obviously, we like to make it easy on our own cloud. So you just click and off they go as well. So you can try that out. So that's kind of bringing it all together. We've got our vision for a hybrid multi-cloud platform based on OpenShift and Kubernetes. And that's the secure infrastructure that is flexible across clouds. And then you've got the vision for the cognitive enterprise, which is using all of those innovative new technologies from IoT to AI, machine learning, blockchain, and so on, that is driving the transformation of business. So it's kind of like the yin and yang, both sides of the coin. You can't have one without the other. You need that secure infrastructure, and you also need the innovative technologies to drive that transformation of business. If you want to know more, we've kind of written the book on cloud adoption. You can go and download that on our website. There's also a couple of quite fun. I really like these field guides that the IBM Garage team have put together, discussing various different topics ranging from this is application modernization. Can't see that. We've got another one on design thinking, and this is our method for transformation. You can get those again on the IBM Garage site, and they're free. These are really quick, easy, 10-minute read, flip through. You can even share them with your CEO. The cloud adoption is a solid tome talking about all the issues around cloud adoption and modernization, and so that's a quite an in-depth read, but really quite interesting from our services colleagues. And if you're interested in learning more, and how getting started with transformation, and it's something that I really encourage, is actually getting engaged with and doing an IBM Garage tour. So they're the team. They run MVPs. They do design thinking workshops. So they'll actually look at ways to actually get you started on the journey. And actually coming out one of these conferences last year, I worked with a large financial institution, and they kind of ran with it, and they're developing all kinds of different apps in-house now after doing some of these design thinking workshops. And it was really enjoyable and successful engagement together. It works very well. And of course, try out the cloud. We will run on any cloud, right? That's our vision. But we also have our own cloud, and it's really good at containers, right? It's one of its strengths. Containers, also our VMware service as well, really strong areas. Undersung, I feel, right? It's not very well known outside, but we've got our niche in that particular area. And you can try it out. Like most things, you can try out free and have a bit of a play and see what you think. So I hope that was informative and interesting. Give a little bit of our point of view, how we think about the world in IBM, where we're coming from. Why on earth did we spend billions buying this Red Hat company? Yeah, we've bet the farm on this, right? It's like the guy who bought the Razor, saw the Razor. He liked it so much he bought the company. I mean, we saw Red Hat. We liked it, so we bought the company. I'll be needing a Razor at the end of November myself, but that's a different story. But yeah, no, we really have, we genuinely believe in this new direction and true open hybrid multi-cloud strategy. Thank you very much.